fitness journeys, where to start, how do you know where to start, how do you know when to start, self-awareness, knowing who you are, your history behind it all. Like, cool, you're ready to roll with you're ready to roll with your fitness journey. It's you feel that it's time, whether it's January or it's summer or it's your birthday or you got a scare from the doctor. It's like, all right, bet I'm on it. Now what?
Yep.
What do we do?
Mhm.
It's a lot of different places to go. There's calisthenics at home, there's YouTube videos, there's running from rabid squirrels, there's all sorts of there's personal trainers, obviously, there's Zumba classes, there's one-on-ones, variety of in-persons, there's apps, there's Fitbits, there's the nutsack pods, whatever that shit was. There's of course our fit kits,
Mhm.
um, which are only designed for you and only you, and we try to make that a specific experience for you. So with that said, we put together that spirit animal, gym spirit animal survey a while back that we meant it seriously, and it was it was a lot of fun to do. We meant it seriously. It wasn't supposed to be like a joke or anything like that, but it was really fun to see the uh all
Where everybody
the
fell.
well, a lot of people wanted to do it. Like they're like, "Wait,
Yeah.
no way, I want to do it again. No, no."
Some people
I'm
were like, "I got the honey badger," and the picture was, like, scary looking. They're like, "I don't know how I feel about this," but then they
Yeah,
watched the video and were like, "Oh, I get
yeah.
it."
So, we're gonna it was either the Wolverine honey badger or the dolphin,
Mhm.
So again, we're gonna try to connect the dots as best as we can objectively. But this one in particular, we're going to talk about two things kind of in particular. We're going to talk about the ignition program, which again, out of all the different resources and conduits of exercise you could do, all the different modalities, all of them, in-home, online, in-person, group, all of it. We're going to focus on the subscription model and how to really hold yourself accountable with some help is the
Mhm.
irony because it's not like you're on your own when you're doing a monthly gig.
Right.
So a monthly subscription concept of what we're doing with our program Ignition. Um, and then I think we're going to take the Wolverine and kind of just start from there.
Mhm.
And as you listen, decide if you took the quiz and you are a Wolverine, I guess double down on it. Make sure that it makes sense. Reaffirm a lot of it for yourself.
Yeah.
If you took the survey quiz and it said that you were an asshole and you say, you know what, no way, I'm a Wolverine. Like, cool, then take it again. We all want to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, there's not, and we made these things on our own experience,
Yes.
right? So with that said, um, we're trying to put it together as best as we can with as much lighthearted but
But, like, real life experience,
yeah,
you
I
know,
mean,
we deal with a
it's
lot of clients, we
th
work with a
yeah,
lot of people,
yeah,
and from doing that, you start to see patterns, and you
mhm,
start to see how people are thinking through things, and you're like, "Oh, this person is a lot like that person, and they kind of ended up following the same path," and so that's kinda how we came up with them,
mhm.
and one of the reasons we wanted to talk about Wolverine first is because we've seen Wolverines have a lot of success with
Hugh
Ignition.
Jackman is sexy as fuck. I'm just saying,
No.
if I had a man crush on somebody, he'd be one of them, I think. At least
Nuh-uh.
are you outside of
Seriously?
your mind? Hell yeah,
He is not good looking in the Wolverine movies. He looks like a
because
Wolverine.
he's a fucking what the fucking shit is wrong with you?
How old is he?
It don't matter, he's like 300 years old in the movie. He's supposed to look like a Wo Wolverine is not, he looks like a Wolverine. Bitch, that's the wrong.
Maybe he
That
was good
was
looking in his youth.
you know what? I bet you were too. Bingo. I got you, Hugh.
I'm still young. Whatever. Wolverines, not of the Hugh Jackman variety, of the spirit fitness spirit animal variety. But like I said, a lot of Wolverines are having success with Ignition. And this is why. Because Wolverines are very much motivated by having a straightforward goal and a straightforward plan. They know that they're ready. They know that they want something. And now all they need is the means to get it. And a Wolverine is like hyper focused. They're like, if this is my plan and it's laid out, I'm going to do it. And hell or high water, I've got this goal over here and I'm going to do it. Now, that could eventually cause some type of strife because a lot of times what a Wolverine ends up doing is hyper fixating on the goal rather than the plan. And so they start to overthink a little bit along the way.
which can inadvertently bring out like honey badger qualities.
Yes,
You could be
absolutely.
so focused on it and so stubborn about it that you just, I'm going to get this goal no matter what. So really, it's okay if I eat this fucking cupcake because
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and you're just super bang. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. But when they really understand the process, and for a Wolverine, typically getting that understanding is something that they're willing to do, and not just something that they're willing to do, it's something they want to do. They want to understand why this path is going to lead to there because it helps validate for them that they will eventually get there, right? So one reason that Wolverines are successful in Ignition is because that's what those plans do. Like right now, and in the past, it's been core strength and stability and cardio. It's been making it fit your schedule. It's been all sorts of things. Right now, we're focused on lower body, and the plan talks about why we do certain things. There's all sorts of videos all throughout that explain the process to you, so that you're focusing on the right things.
And per
Because
that Maxwell, the John
Mhm.
Maxwell snippet that we did,
Yeah,
was it last week or whatever?
yeah.
Like the Wolverines want to because they've learned enough,
Yes.
and that's that when it becomes their way, it's their idea. Now they've learned how, so now they want to do it instead of
Mhm.
wanting to be naturally resistant.
Absolutely. And so having somewhere to focus that is it's like vital. Because if you have a goal over there and you're here and you're there and you're here and you're there and you're here and you're there, a Wolverine by design is going to find something to hyperfixate on. And what you don't want is to hyperfixate on all the things, right? Now you're just like desperate trying to find which one that works, throwing things at the wall and seeing which one sticks when really you need to truly understand the process, right? They like seek to understand. Um and sometimes that can throw a Wolverine off when there's too much information. Exactly for that reason. They get confused. They need a path, right? They crave that path.
But our ignition, what about the ignition program particularly? Like if you're, from what you've seen, because I guess we've had more Wolverines come and enlist recently. So then, what about the program attracts Wolverines?
That number 1, there's a clear goal. Number 2, there's an even clearer path with the understanding of the path built in. And it gives them the freedom to get what they really want out of a workout, which is the satisfaction of the achievement. You know what I mean? Like, the workouts are hard. They're not they're not always simple. We don't typically write workouts on these programs like 3 times this, 3 times that,
Mhm.
3 times this. It's very, every workout's a little bit different. So, it gives them that accomplishment. It gives them that, like, challenge.
So on some level, I mean, Wolverines are aware of their goal.
Mhm.
They're aware that they want it, and as soon as they're made aware and understand equally the path to get to that,
Mhm.
and they've had a chance to quantify that,
Mhm.
that's where the success comes for the Wolverines.
And
If for
Wolverines
nothing else, they want the structure to at least kind
exactly,
of
yes.
know where, I don't wanna say where, like, what their lane is or what rules to follow,
Mhm.
but at least they wanna know which direction to go ahead and tear shit up at.
Mhm, which goes back to the, like, tunnel vision of this
Yeah.
is what I want, and this is how I'm gonna do it, and this is how I know I will get what I want. I think the other thing that helps too is that a Wolverine doesn't need somebody to necessarily hold their hand. They don't need anything super specific. They are the type of people who seek out information when they need it. So if there is something that needs to be modified or something that they are not sure they can do, first of all, they're probably going to try to do it anyways because that's just their nature of being
Mhm.
challenged and trying to accomplish it. And if they can't, then they're going to work around it in a way that works for them. It's not like something that they're gonna see and be discouraged and give up. That's something that motivates them, like, you know what? That said 3-minute plank. I could only do it for 30 seconds. I'm gonna get that 3-minute plank eventually. And you know what I mean?
They just
Rather
have to guard against their own stubbornness
uh
and remember that it was their choice, right? As a Wolverine, you know, like if you're doing it, then you know why you're doing it. And on some level, you know that there is help there.
Mhm.
We get it. You're trying to do it on your own. And that's, I mean, that's, we're not going to do it for you. I'm not going to do your push ups for you.
Mhm.
I'm not going to cook for you. I'm not going to fucking feed you. Right? We have ways to help you cook for yourself. We have ways to help you guide your caloric intake.
Mhm.
Obviously, we have ways to guide you through and suggest workout types and what to do in terms of intensity and volume and strength training, conditioning, and all of that. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to be the one that knows. Cool. If this, I'm gonna go as far as I can go because this is where I'm supposed to go, and if I'll let you know if I need you. That's
Absolutely.
kind of the thing.
They like to have somebody there for the validation to make sure that they are, like, fixating on the right things and to make sure that their
There's
understanding is
some
clear.
DIY ass people,
Yeah. But at the same time, they want to know for fact that they're doing what they need to
right?
do.
They're DIYers with a YouTube open.
Yes,
Or in
like,
this
"Let me just
particular
double check
instance,
this."
it's the DIY with the ignition program
Yeah,
open.
the private Facebook group,
Mhm.
we're in there helping people answer questions like that all the time, and watching the Wolverines be like, "That workout just kicked my ass."
Or and that would be, the reality is, we'll get questions, we'll answer, and instead of anything else, we get a like.
Yeah.
It's like, "Well, fuck you, man. You're welcome, ass crack. Shit, dude. Hey, man, how many sets of this should I do?" And I'm over here, like, trying to explain shit you like.
Double tap the
Can I
little
get a
heart
love or
thing.
something? Can I get a little hug, or I just get a like? Like I posted, "Mark safe from" whatever it was, like. People don't even fucking care. Like. It's just stupid. It's like somebody saying K in a response.
It's the worst.
It's her pet peeve, which I usually don't care about.
Oh, I hate that
I think
one.
I have to add the blah, blah, blah to my list
I
of
know, I
fucking
said it
things.
today.
You
I've
did
been
say it.
really good about
It
not
really,
saying
I
it.
wanted to refrain from
And right
just
when it came out of my mouth, I was like, "Dang
getting a running start and drop kicking you across the screen. But
it." That wasn't on here, that was before we got on here. Sorry.
so what?
I've been way better at it. I
You have,
stopped
yeah, yes.
I stopped saying it
No,
mostly. That was the first time in a long time.
it's okay.
I Did you see that meme I sent you the other day?
No, I was trying to work. Never mind. Which mean? Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Have a good day to everybody except the ones who say K and thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, anyways. So, and I think too, the challenge of that is something that drives a Wolverine. Knowing I have this laid out in front of me, the goal is to finish it. That challenge is something that drives them. Like when they are met with a challenge, when they have a hard day, a Wolverine is more motivated than when they're having a good day and everything is sailing smooth, right? Because when they're sailing smooth, they're missing that feeling of challenge that brings them the sense of accomplishment when they're done. Does that make sense? And so, having a program like this that's constantly leveling up, that's giving you different options at different points to make the workout harder, or it's timed, you're trying to beat yourself at your old time. All these different things built in, the test workouts at the beginning and end of each quarter. All these things built in give the Wolverine that sense of I've accomplished something. I came, I saw, I conquered, I improved. Next, right? Because it's ongoing. That's and I think that's very much where the Wolverine differs from a honey badger per se. A Wolverine says, "Great, I have a new one coming. I have a new one coming." They that commitment is something that they crave. They like that. Whereas a honey badger is more like day to day kind of like how do I feel today? Gauging it as they go. So that's a real advantage that a Wolverine has. That commitment and the commitment to that challenge is something that's almost like inherent for them, you know? Um,
All three of the animals have the same commonality, which is the commitment to finishing the shit.
mhm, absolutely.
The only difference is, like, if you're a badger, in your head, if you decide to quit, it's okay with you because you decided to quit,
Mhm,
and nobody can tell you anything otherwise. I feel like the other 2, there's a reason for it,
Mhm.
and there may very well be for the badgers out there, but they'll justify emotional decisions with some bullshit ass logic. And
Mhm.
most of the time, it's stubborn and it's very prideful. Everybody, and I think all 3 of them have a little bit of each other in there, so
Yep. And
that's okay.
in a Wolverine, I think that comes in with the thing where, like, I wanna do this myself. Like, I think, like you mentioned earlier, sometimes that stubbornness gets in the way where it's like, their pride gets in the way that they want to know it
But
all.
that's why the Ignition program, at least our version of our online courses, are the online subscription, right? That works because of how we keep things organic
Mhm.
in that way.
Yes.
It's not like we're just pumping out some shit that we're not copying and pasting anything.
No,
I
we're
mean,
not.
it would probably be easier,
Yeah.
but then I'd be, the biggest hypocrite of all time and fuck all that. Like,
And, like, at the end of the day, that doesn't serve any I like, if you want to find something if you want to find a program that says leg day, back day, arm day, you can Google that, and
fucking
you'll
Pinterest
find
will
them
show you
for
that shit.
free all over the
Yeah.
place, like, and if that's your thing, do it. I mean, it's free, do it. But the way that we structure it is not like that on purpose because it's meant to be more of a challenge. There's like an actual goal, and we've designed everything around that goal and in a way that most others don't, in a way that is unique, that takes your entire body into consideration and the way that it functions and the way that it moves, not just for you to look a certain way, not just for you to lose weight. Those are great byproducts, obviously. But what you are really looking for, what anyone is really looking for, is to be able to play with your kids, to be able to trip on the stairs and not fall, and to be able to catch yourself, to do all these everyday things that you need your body for, you know? Um, I think too that the different animals consume things different, like with a different lens. When a Wolverine is doing research or looking at social media, a lot of times Wolverines are using it to kind of validate what they think they already know. You know what I mean? They're saying they I think for a Wolverine it's very easy to consume things to either prove or discredit whatever it is that they believe.
Mhm. They'll use the information to justify
To
their
feed their
emotion that what
yes,
they yeah,
to feed their hyperfixation.
right.
So, I've worked with, um
Which is why it's so damn important
that you understand this.
that you understand the line that the pride where that is.
Yes.
Because in your gut, like, to me, the Wolverines I've met in my life have a gut feeling,
Mhm.
and deep inside, you motherfuckers know, sometimes you need to pump your fucking brakes just a little bit. Sometimes.
Mhm,
It's a gift to be able to go all in on command like Wolverines can do.
mhm.
Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But doing it out of vanity or doing it out of spite or, things like that, mm, that could get you in trouble because you'll then be the worst parts of, the badger and whatnot, and you'll start to justify all the bad shit.
Yes, like, something like this, a Wolverine who's saying, "I need to lose weight, I need" and specifically in my legs. "I need to lose weight in my legs," whatever it is. If they believe in their mind the best way to do that is keto, then they are gonna go all in, they're gonna learn everything that they need to know about keto, they're gonna figure out why keto is the best thing since forever, why it's the way that they should do it, they're gonna learn everything they need to know, and they're gonna do it, but then when it comes time to that they don't wanna do that anymore, or when it's not working and then they're hiring somebody to help them kind of figure it out, they're going to resist changing
Mhm.
because they've already convinced themselves, like, "No, this is the right way. I did all the research. I looked it all up." But really what they did was hyper fixated on that one way
Instead of being open to the option.
instead of being open to the options. Because when a Wolverine is open to the options and is in a good place, then you can make an informed decision and you can go all in on the right decision.
Mhm.
But if you let yourself slip even for a second, you go down that rabbit hole of the wrong one, and you'll find yourself stuck there because of your strong will and your readiness to learn and your eagerness to succeed. You will find all the wrong ways to do that. And when you realize it's not working, it goes back to the pride.
Mhm,
Well, that's the way that I thought it was supposed to go. I did everything I was supposed to do. Why is it not? It must just be me. What?
mhm.
Maybe I need to come, and then you go down into that rabbit hole of being confused by all the things. So, like Chris was saying, you need to be able to catch that in the moment. And you probably do have a gut thing that says, keto probably, I know keto's, I saw somebody else do keto and they lost all this weight. So that's what I'm going to fixate on. But deep down, you probably know that's not the right thing to do. Listen to that. Listen to that and
And make
follow
sure
it.
you understand why.
Yes. Yes. Because
Learning
again,
from like, for a Wolverine, you know, learning from your mistakes or learning from the past couldn't be more true.
mhm,
If you can't start out the journey to, "Well, shit, keto failed me before, I'm gonna do it this time just to prove that I can do it."
mhm.
I'm guilty of that terribly,
Yeah.
like, doing shit just because I can,
Mhm,
or because I couldn't do it before, so now I'm gonna do that, and I'll justify that by saying, "No, I'm gonna be better today than I was yesterday, and what I'm gonna be this," you know what I mean?
mhm,
I'll just gas myself up to because I'm lacking the confidence in that moment. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? And a huge part of understanding who you are comes from the right type of confidence, self-confidence.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that is something that is very important to a Wolverine is you have to find that confidence because if you don't, then that's when you start to go down those rabbit holes that you don't need to be down. So things that can kind of help you stay on that track are asking yourself those questions like what am I focusing on today? For me, I think a lot of times, I don't get like the mom guilt about working out or like I feel bad leaving to go do that. Like that's not where it comes from. For me, I'm like, I have a to-do list a million miles long. I have a huge goal over here. And any minute I spend away from that goal, I'm like, that's what I feel guilty about. You know what I mean? And so I see, so all that to say, when you're focused on one thing. You have to remember that your focus doesn't always need to be on one thing. Does that make sense?
mhm.
It's because it's easy for a Wolverine to get hyper focused and tunnel vision, and this is it. That's all I. This is what I need to do. I need to eat, live, breathe, sleep. This, but then you start to neglect other areas too. So stopping to ask yourself,
See, that's
like,
where the confusion comes in
mm-hmm,
is you don't even you don't even know what to set your red flag alarm to. Like
you start to notice cues within yourself, though. Like you start to
like
notice.
but see, here's the irony of it all. Your ass, you your ambition, like I said before, like you need to just go with that, run with it, put a collar on that shit, let it empower you, fail forward,
Hmm.
right? Like I think I'm encouraging, and you said that not many people have encouraged that
Hmm.
in the past because it's dangerous for people, but you're able to pull it off, so it should be explored. So the problem with you is like you you'll fill a fucking page full of shit to do just because you can. And can you get it all done? Yeah. Hell yeah, of course you can, but you'll wanna get it done on a Thursday instead of having it done in a week. When there's nothing wrong with the week, you just wanna fucking do it in a fucking because you know what it feels like to find success in finality.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
you'll rush that. You'll just, it doesn't matter. You'll get so hyper fixated yourself on making sure that this is done on this time, this is done on that day, da 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 da. Da. And you won't even, and when you do it, you don't even enjoy it. The moment you knock one off the fucking list, you replace that some bitch with someone, and then you get frustrated about it because your list hasn't grown or hasn't gone down at all. Well, haven't I gotten anything done? It's like, bitch, you would have if you would stop like replacing chores with done chores, like, shit. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
it's like if you're a Wolverine and you want to what's it I don't know, what's it what, you wanna lose weight, whatever, let's just pulling it out of my ass, right? And in the process of it, you understand that, yes, you understand both sides,
Mhm.
that steady state steady state cardio versus, being crazy about your macros. Like there's values to both
Mhm.
strength training, da, da, da. But let's say out of nowhere, you fall in love with running up the hill. I don't know. Right, let's just say, why are you making that face? You were the one that was just saying that you were over here doing sprints the other day. So let's just say you're doing them. Boom, you're running out. You're doing sprill runs, hill runs, hill sprints, right? And you kind of secretly like that shit,
Mhm.
right? Well, all of a sudden, you start to throw in the mix of this grandiose plan of yours to get your time down on hill runs, not realizing that focusing on the hill run has now changed your metabolic engine, and
Mhm.
you now store differently as you are conditioning to knock out the hill run.
Mhm.
Your scale won't move anymore.
Mhm.
You'll start losing inches because you're burning fat as you start to dick around with a hit concept.
Mhm.
But that wasn't the goal.
Yeah.
You love how it feels, but it wasn't the goal. So now you got to decide, when the scale don't move, but shit's starting to fall off you, can you get past the confusion of it and say, well, this was unexpected, but I will do this. But you know what? I did remember hearing about doing this kind of training forever ago.
Mhm.
I just didn't want to use it just yet until da, 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 da. And you start to justify your own shit
Mhm.
because you didn't. It's you're logically justifying an emotional decision, even if, especially if you just kind of fell on it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, you yourself have said it feels amazing to get this big old task done. Like, if there's a long list of emails to send or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
Like, I just got the notice from the state today that I was finally waiting on. Great news. Awesome. Cool. Doesn't mean I'm going to go like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Replacing that with it, because it took a shit ton of patience to wait on
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you think about it, you just,
It comes back to knowing yourself and understanding, like, the things that are happening in your mind and the things that you find yourself doing that are hinting toward you need to pump the brakes for a second, take an objective look at what you're doing and decide what needs to stay, what needs to go, what needs to be doubled down on, and what needs to be let go.
knowing yourself, knowing your goal,
Mhm.
knowing why you want the goal.
Mhm. Mhm. And knowing what it's gonna take to get it, and then doing it.
Mhm.
And I think that's everything that Ignition embodies, really.
Yeah.
You've got a goal, you've got the plan, we explain
And
why
for
the
what?
plan
How much per
works.
month? What the,
50
like,
bucks.
come on.
I know,
Come on.
50 bucks. I mean,
Give
it's
me a
less
break.
than most gym memberships. But in any case, that's and you can do it in a way that's yours, right? Like, nobody's standing there over you, watching you, micromanaging you. You don't have to be there at a certain time on a certain day. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can do what you need to do, block it all out, focus on the challenge in front of you, and literally crush it.
Mhm. But there, because of the Facebook groups and such, if you wanted a community
When
and
you
just
get
wanted somebody to hash out some ideas with or whatever, or just,
Or when you get to that point where you're like, "You know what? I'm doing all this exercise now and it's not working." And, like, I feel like I've plateaued at this point. You have somebody literally at your fingertips, it's a Facebook group away,
yeah.
to say, "This isn't working. What is this?" And then from there, we can start to focus on your nutrition and add that kind of stuff in. So, it's a full picture of
Mhm.
legit anything you need,
And for 50 bucks, like, come
and
on.
for 50
So if you don't
bucks.
know where to start, like we started off this particular episode, so many places to start, right? I'm not gonna be the guy that says, "Go jump in head first and like, okay, cool, let's do that. Let's, totally go after it, right? But if there's ever gonna be a safe, like, first step to just see what it's, or at least see what we're like,
Mhm.
Ignition is the one that you should try.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And you'll see a lot of examples of that on social media. Follow us on Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yeah.
join our mailing list.
Yeah.
Weekly workouts will show
Yeah.
you very much what Ignition looks like.
Yeah.
There you go.